I'm always super pumped when I finish a good game that I haven't played before. This time, it was Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. About 5 years ago, I played and finished the first Ninja Gaiden game for the first time, and I really enjoyed it, despite its brutal difficulty. I picked up Ninja Gaiden 2 fairly soon after that, and I played it for maybe 10 minutes or so until I decided to shelf it until I was ready for another ninja adventure. Then days turned to months, months turned to years, and now here I am finally playing Ninja Gaiden 2. Ninja Gaiden 2 was released in 1990 by Tecmo, not long after the original. Unfortunately, the only way to play it today is on the NES, the SNES on the maligned Ninja Gaiden trilogy, the Wii U and 3DS Virtual Console, or by emulation. There were ports for MS-DOS and the Amiga as well, but I'm not familiar with those. There hasn't been a release on a modern system yet. That goes for the other games in the NES series as well. It's always a shame not to have a good modern way to play retro stuff for those who aren't collectors. The game starts with a bang, just as the last one did. The opening sequence is pretty awesome, showing a messenger reporting to this new bad guy, Ashtar, that Jackio, the big bad from the last game, was defeated by the Dragon Ninja. Ashtar then goes over his big evil plan, and the scene cuts between him and opening credits introducing the main characters. The entire presentation of this game is great. The cutscenes are even better than the first games. The story is pretty bland, but for an NES game, it's told very well. But if you want to skip the cutscenes and skip straight to the game, I don't blame you. While I wanted to know what happens, I felt the pull of pressing the skip button to get back to the action. You may notice the graphics are improved. While it's not a massive jump, it feels like more of an incremental jump, much like you'd see between Mega Man games. The backgrounds are all improved, but the player and enemy sprites don't seem that much different. Not that it's a problem, the game still looks great. The cutscenes are even more detailed, and in some stages, Tecmo added parallax scrolling. This train stage looks so good. Some of the other levels look kinda muddy by comparison, but nothing bad at all. The music is about the same in terms of quality, which is good because that means there are more awesome ninja tunes to enjoy. There are a few tracks that are reused from the first game, and they sound alright here as well. The opening stage does a great job of explaining the basic gameplay in that way that only good old retro games can. The level highlights all the basic functions you'll need to master to get through the game, such as attacking enemies that are on the ground so you have to duck, climbing walls, which you didn't have as much freedom with in the last game, and the awesome new Phantom Ninja ability, which allows Ryu to have after images that attack when you do. This comes in handy in so many parts of this game, where the shadowy clones will help clear out enemies or even deal damage to a boss while Ryu avoids damage himself. You can have up to 2 Phantom Ninjas following you at a time, and you lose them after dying. The nice thing is, the game places these power-ups all over the place, so you can almost always replenish them after a death. The game plays just like the original for the most part, other than the climbing change where you can now climb up and down any wall, and the Phantom Ninja power-up. The game feels just like the first game. B is jump, A is attack, and up and A fires off your special weapons. There are a few missing from the original game, most notably the spinning sword jump thing, but they balance out pretty well in this. You have your standard shuriken, your windmill shuriken that will rotate around you if you don't catch it, the upward flame shot, the downward fireball, and the fire shield. They are littered throughout the game, and they're often put into places where they'll be immediately useful. Finding enough ammo for these can be a challenge, however, but there are items that you can find that increase your max ammo number. It's not completely imperative to find all these, but it can help very well. Spamming your special weapon at the beginning of a boss fight can give you a pretty good edge. Enemies respawn easily and can knock you into a pit since Ryu flies backwards every time he gets hit. Platforming can be super tricky, and I even found that it was sometimes easy to misjudge where on a platform you can jump, causing me to just run off into pits myself quite often. There is one major caveat here though. If you game over on the end boss, you don't get thrown back several levels like you do in Ninja Gaiden 1. Thank God. The unlimited continues and generous checkpoints in the game actually nullify a lot of the difficulty. Like the first game, it makes Ninja Gaiden 2 a good trial and error game. You keep tackling a situation over and over until you figure out how to best get past it without dying or taking too much damage. Because of where you come back when you die, it's never that long of a trek to get back to where you messed up. That really helps with the addicting quality to Ninja Gaiden 2's difficulty. If I can keep coming back to try again, I will. If I'm going to get thrown so far back that I'll struggle to get back to the point where I died, I'm more likely to give up. I'm glad this has become more of a standard in modern 2D platforming games. Some of the levels also throw in various environmental hazards that you didn't see in the first game. First, you'll come across a level where the wind and the rain affects your jumps, making for a few tricky situations. You'll also see an area where water flows and hinders your movement, which I got caught in for quite a while. I think this was the hardest level for me. And then there was an ice level. Yay! You get hit on this ice and you go flying. You also have to get more momentum than normal to make longer jumps. It's only one short level though, so it's not a huge deal. The difficulty does ramp up pretty consistently, other than that one portion of level 4 where I got caught in for longer than I should have. It doesn't really have many spikes in challenge or anything. It slopes up pretty well. Boss fights are mostly pretty cool. Some are definitely easier than others, and some have some weird patterns that I didn't figure out as easily as I probably should have, but I like them all. The final boss has 3 forms, and each form has the decency to stay dead after you beat it, even if you die. Sure, it throws you back to the first part of level 7 too, but that's a fairly small price to pay, I think. I'd rather this than either getting thrown back 2 or 3 levels, or even having to do all 3 bosses in one try without dying. The first time I died to the first form of the end boss, I was pretty upset that I had to go through 7-2 again. But when I got to the end and beat him, and then died on the second form, then fought back to the boss room, I was pleasantly surprised to see that I didn't have to kill Form 1 again. Ninja Gaiden 2 is a really enjoyable game and I really liked it. Controlling a ninja who runs at breakneck speeds and can kill enemies with a single slash of the sword is super satisfying. Sure, there were some frustrating bits due to some of the platforming and enemy respawn and placement, but overcoming the frustrating bits and learning how to get by them is incredibly rewarding. I literally cheered out loud when I beat the game. Definitely give Ninja Gaiden 2 a chance if you've only played the first game. If you like fast-paced slashing action with a mean streak, you'll like Ninja Gaiden 2. It's not as tough as the first game, so if you struggled through the first game but still beat it, like I did, it won't take you nearly as long to beat this one. I guess that's why I let it sit for so long. I didn't want to spend hours in the last few levels just trying to beat the end boss, and I had to do that in the previous game and I didn't want to have to do it again. But thankfully, that was not an issue here. That's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.